The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views or ideas of the staff or management of KWSH or the 110 Broadcast Group.
Welcome to the Seminole Nation radio program. This, again, is not Jeremy Fultz. This is Mark Williams, Director of Communications and Media Department. And I'm joined here with...
This is not Delaney Pinnock. This is Josiah Jimboy, Media Specialist out of Communications.
And we're going to be your host for the next 30 minutes. Sharing announcements and news of the day, of the week. And we're going to play a little bit of some audio for you for the second half of the show. If some of you guys missed the State of the Nation address from Chief Lewis Johnson, we'll be playing that for you for the second half. But for the first half, we'll discuss a little bit what's going on in Seminole country. And a little bit of what's happening with us. So, Josiah, you want to let us know what you did over the weekend? You had some football games you attended. You want to talk a little bit about that? Or?
Yeah, but I went up to Fayetteville and hung out with some family and ended up going to the Arkansas and Alabama game. And that's pretty much all I did all weekend.
How did that turn out?
I kind of don't want to talk about it.
As some of you know, Josiah is a huge Arkansas fan and an OU fan. So OU didn't do too well this weekend.
What's funny was before the show, we talked about we were not going to talk about these two games.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about Dallas because that was the only team that won.
Dallas was a good win.
Yeah, there it is, yep.
So we're both big Dallas Cowboys fans, so shout out to Cooper Rush coming in and
Cooper
saving.
Clutch.
Yeah, in Rush we trust. So that's your sports breakdown for this week. So yeah. Before we get into some of our announcements, as we do every week, we want to take a moment to reflect and to think about some of our community members and tribal members who have passed on through COVID or just any other circumstance. So at this time, we're going to take a moment of silence and remember those that we have loved. Mado.
And just like every episode that we do every Tuesday, we're going to name off all the 4 Sundays that we got going on this week. This Sunday will be October 9th, starting with Achina, I might be saying that wrong, Alabama Casati, Belvin Baptist, Cedar Springs, Coach Springs, Hitch City. Am I saying that right, Mark?
Hitchity
Chuba. We'll go with that. Little Coweta, Little Corsati, Mini Springs, Omogi Baptist, Prairie Springs, Spring, Wagufki, West Eufaula, Wokasi, and Jardiki.
So those are your 4 Sundays. And again, just you might want to reach out to someone in the congregation or maybe the pastor or someone in leadership just to make sure they actually are going to be having service this Sunday. But as far as scheduled, those are the ones that we have on our list. So we're going to kind of break into some of the department news that we have going on. So, Josiah?
For our language department, they have recently just put out their 4-week course, Learning the Muskogee Language, the online course. The link is on their Facebook page. And that is all from the language department today.
Shout out to the language department. They're over in Oklahoma City today taking part in a language summit. That's the reason Jeremy and Delaney's not here. They're out there working hard, staying busy. They're not on vacation. We don't let them have vacations usually. So when they're not here, they're usually out there working. So shout out to those guys, doing a good job over at the language department. So we want to also make an announcement for the diabetes program. They got some new equipment, some new weight exercise equipments and weights over there at the Chefegni Wellness Center. So I haven't been over there yet to see the new stuff, but they did kind of want to make an announcement that they are open to the public, but it is still by appointment only. They are not accepting walk-ins, so if you want to come check out the new equipment, be sure to give them a call. Their hours of operation are still Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They do have early bird hours from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and they also have after hours from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. To schedule an appointment, or if you have any questions, you can call them at 405-234-5246 and give them a good call. Give them a call and check out the new equipment they have installed over there. We'll check it out sometime here pretty soon, I'm sure. So speaking of diabetes program, the staff over there at Chefegni, the CHR program, we want to give a shout out to two departments in particular, the OAP and the CHR program, mainly because of this new phase. We're in phase 3 now as far as returning back to work from the pandemic. And so most of the departments are actually, we're all opened up with certain protocols. You know, we have, like we just mentioned with diabetes program, no walk-ins, and a lot of these departments are set up by appointment only. So we're still taking precautions. But during that pandemic, you know, a lot of the departments did shut down, or they were working from home. I'll put it that way. They were actually working from home, but some essential workers were still coming into work. Some of the essential workers, we just kind of want to give them a shout out. During that time, they were still coming in and doing their job, and, you know, kind of putting themselves at risk a lot. And so one of them was the OAP program. You know, they were coming in, the cooks and the drivers and the host over there, and coming in and opening up for the community members and making sure they had a hot meal, and even still delivering, you know, going door to door, taking food out to them during that time. So I also know during the pandemic, they had to close a couple of times because of exposure, and a couple of the staff members got COVID, but they never did completely shut down. So, you know, just a shout out to them for doing, you know, the work that they're doing out there. The same thing with CHR. They was out there giving transportation rides to community members and tribal members to their appointments, doing food pantry deliveries, taking food out to different homes. So, essential workers, you know, they really kind of came through during that time. So we just from the Seminole Nation Radio Program and Communication Department, we want to give them a shout out and say, good job, keep it up. You know, we notice you out here. Well, and also too, the director of the OAP.
Oh yeah, Martha Wind.
Yeah,
she's also a member of my church, High Springs, too. So I see her often.
So good job, Martha. Keep it up out there. Some job announcements. We want to bring out one in particular. With the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, they do have an opening with the Boys and Girls Club CEO. If you want to apply for it, you can find their application on their website at hasnnoc.org, which is spelled HASNOK.org. You can submit your applications, resume, and copy of your valid driver's license to that site. Or if you just want to take it to them personally, they at 120 West 4th Street in Wewoka. Or you can mail it to them at P.O. Box 1493, Wewoka, Oklahoma 74884. So that's for the Boys and Girls Club CEO job opening for Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma.
And we have some news, or I guess you could say updates on our Seminole Nation Days. Chogotalummi, we have a few, I guess you can say, category winners for our powwow, and the same thing with the traditional dress. So I'm going to name off a few of the names and a few of the winners. And so starting off with traditional dress, 0 to 10 girls. For first, it was Kihari England, Ariana Harjo, and Carmen Jones. And then 0 to 10 boys was Kendall King, Josiah King got second, and third was Nolan Gargoshian. Also, 11 through 17 girls, we have first place Isabella Larney, second place Amira Newsom, who was also our junior Miss Seminole Nation. We also have who got third was Annalise Martinez, and women's 18 and over. For first, we have Kylie Violet. Second is Cassandra Johnson. Third was Kyra Holati. For women's traditional 18 and over, we have for first was Dana Miller, and second was Danita Holati. And for men's traditional 18 and over, first place was Rodney Factor, second was Wyatt Washington, and third was Jagger Tiger. We also have winners for the we also have winners for the powwow. Sorry. We have winners for the powwow for the men's golden age. For first, we had Deswood. I don't even know if I'm saying these names right. What's that say? First one right there. Golden age. I'll let you announce it, Mark. You might be familiar with the names.
Costaway?
Yeah.
Deswood Costaway. We got David Johnson and Robert Narkeming. And then we got the men straight. We're going to go some handwriting here, so we're trying to hopefully get through this. Michael Plumley, Otto Hamilton, is a good buddy of mine, and Ryan Goodfox, men's grass, DJ Haller, Marty Thurman, Keenan Springer. Keenan works over at CHR, or Diabetes. Give them a shout out too. Men's traditional. We've got Waylon Shawnee, Angelo Begay, and Tyler Williams. Men's fancy. We have Wyatt Patty, Amos Little Crow, and Graham Primo Jr. And I'll let you do the women's.
For women's golden age, we had Sanaya Scott for first. Second was Linda Harrison. Third was Donna Patty. For women's cloth, we had Sophia Thurman. Second was Angie Goodfox. Third was Charcy Kaushi. Sorry if I said that wrong. Women buckskin, we had language department admin assistant Catherine Howe got first.
Good job, Catherine.
Second was Nivy Yahaler. Third was Aaron Yahaler. And for women's fancy, we had Brittany Yahaler, who won first. Second was Nikaya Shawnee. Third was Tatiana Barsindabar. And the Seminole Nation traditional dress, Aaron Yahaler was also the winner of that. And the Jennifer Kishaton Memorial Special was Montana Blaine.
So good job, everybody. Good job out there. Congratulations. And we'll have a full list and pictures to go with it in the latest Tribal newspaper, which will be coming out here soon. We're planning to have the digital copy out at the end of the week and hard copies out by next week. So we're going to jump into some community news. Just a couple announcements here we have for some churches. We'll let Joe talk about the first one.
For the first one, it would be my church out in Okemah. High Springs Church will be having a sisters retreat and a brotherhood singing on October 9th from 3 to 5, approximately 5 miles south of Okemah on Highway 27. Church sits on the west side of the highway. Sisters come fellowship and all brothers come to sing. We will also be feeding everybody right after all the singing and the sisters retreat is over. We'll be having a traditional meal as well.
And we got a fall revival coming up. This announcement's coming from Spring Baptist Church in Sassauqua. They invite everyone to their fall revival, which takes place October 17th to the 21st, 7 p.m. nightly. Wednesday the 19th is going to be the youth night. If you need a ride, give them a call at 405-380-2146. But they do ask that you call before noon to ensure a route pickup. So that's the Fall Revival, Spring Baptist Church, October 17th to the 21st. So how about them birthdays, Josiah?
Okay, so for the birthdays for this week and the next upcoming weeks, for the first one, we have Jen Kate, Kyle Martin, Chabon Wind, Paul Parker, Tina Smith, and Stephen Bender. happy birthday to all those who have upcoming birthdays.
Happy birthday. I'm not going to sing, but that's usually Jeremy would probably start singing about now.
Singing right now, yeah.
He's got the voice for that.
Yeah.
I'll spare you guys that. Happy birthday to everybody there. So we're going to jump into, as we promised, the audio. A couple of weeks ago, we had a State of the Nation address from Chief Lewis Johnson from Seminole Nation Days. We're going to go ahead and jump into that, and we'll end the program. We'll sign out now, but we'll let you guys take a listen to the State of the Nation Address 2022 by Chief Lewis Johnson.
So welcome everyone to southwest of Seminole, Oklahoma, in Seminole County, within the exterior boundaries of the Seminole Nation Reservation, Seminole Nation Indian Country. Welcome, welcome to Seminole Nation Days 2022. A lot of things has happened in the last 2 years in that particular area. A lot of great responsibility, both to the Tribal Council and to the Executive Office, to be able to take all these renderings from the Supreme Court, put them into action for the Seminole Nation, for the betterment of our people. Seminole Nation members ushered in another change. Also, several new seats were filled by the bands for their council representation. As a nation, we were facing an unprecedented period in contemporary history. Seminole tribal members were experiencing an unproportional negative financial impact due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The new administration desired to assist the Seminole Nation members as soon as practically possible. The General Council approved the household assistance legislation during the inaugural meeting of the new administration on September 4th, 2021, and it became the first tribal resolution and enactment passed and approved under the new administration. Applications and distributions began several weeks later. The administration began aggressively pursuing and applying for several grants, which would contribute to the betterment of the Seminole Nation. We worked diligently through the Program Development Department to secure these grants. One of these grants is perhaps the largest single grant ever pursued in our history of the Seminole Nation. The Seminole Nation has received confirmation. We have been awarded this grant in the amount of $13 million for broadband expansion within the Seminole Nation Reservation. Largest grant ever acquired in the history of the Seminole Nation. So you live within the exterior boundaries of our reservation. There's going to be fiber optic being laid in the very near future. And that's going to be great for you in the area of education and health, as well as watching movies. You'll be able to watch them in a better stream. Although the nation did not join in any suits against the pharmaceutical companies for the opioid settlements, which was the opioid settlements that was actually supposed to be applied for 2 to 3 years ago, this administration has been communicating with the former Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs, Mr. Kevin Washburn, for a possible share of those settlements. This amount the Seminole Nation is eligible to receive is estimated to be $6 million or possibly more, is what we're told. This would be directed into the programs that deal with cases of addictions and recovery. Executive is thankful for the General Council and for them passing a resolution for Executive to pursue after these funds. Although it has been challenging at times because of the many areas that needed administrative attention, the Seminole Nation continues to position itself for progress. New grants and additional program funding, which has never been seen before, will be coming into the nation. So within just 1 year of being in office, the totals of $20+ million of new funding is forthcoming. This is the first in our history. I knew coming into office, every administration faces unforeseen challenges, but each administration must face these obstacles with courage and put together a team that can resolve whatever issues that may arise. Now, I would be remiss if I did not share this with you, the members of the Seminole Nation. Some issues that had to be addressed when we first came into office were vast indeed and added up into the millions of dollars. The executive office, with the assistance from consultants, tribal staff, CPAs, legal counsel, the tribal council, along with Senator James Langford's office, were able to find resolve to one of these large issues of concern. The other challenges were compliance in nature, pertaining to many contracts the nation has signed with the federal entities. Many of these items were threatening accomplishing and fulfilling the agreements between the Seminole Nation and these federal entities. Therefore, it posed a threat to operations of certain programs that serve our members. We have been able to resolve many of these issues, and we continue to work with the federal agencies for other areas of concern which appeared to not have been executed or administered in several years. While the Seminole Nation positions ourselves for progress, it behooves us as a nation to continue to move forward. The nation is making, and they are pleased with the communication, the federal agency said, with the communication and the openness and the often communication of the Seminole Nation staff and executive office. So we're making strides in that area and just creating better relationships with the federal agencies that actually fund many of our federal programs. The Seminole Nation is blessed to have a general counsel who understands the mechanisms and functions of tribal government. Council which recognizes the areas that must strategically be developed to assure consistent forward progress. The business boards and commissions have new appointed leadership. So now items such as taxation and exercising our sovereignty more effectively is becoming possible. The General Counsel has passed sound progressive legislation and directing our legal counsel to identify the options the Seminole Nation can take to ensure that we are positioning ourselves for progress in the area of future taxation. Business expansion through maximizing our existing revenue-producing entities with changes that will positively increase profits. The General Counsel has passed a resolution for a new tribal LLC established to create the ability to partner with investors in certain sectors of business, which was previously limited under the current tribal code through the Seminole Nation Division of Commerce, SNDOC. These measures have been put in place to position the nation for progress, allowing joint ventures to be able to be had, as well as improving our abilities in the area of going after government contracting. And that's a very important measure in the very near future that the Seminole Nation will be involved in. Both the Seminole Nation Division of Commerce and the Seminole Nation Gaming Agency have discussed models for new development in Wewoka at the intersection of 56 and 270, and are now seriously planning for improvements at the River Mist near Conowal. The transportation program will contribute to these areas of repairing the roads and expanding parking lots near these businesses. The Tribal Council has passed 18 projects since we have been in office, me and Chief Palmer, which is very exciting. It is exciting. And it will impact the lives from the youngest to the eldest. All three of the Seminole Nation Head Start facilities will undergo major retrofitting to allow expanded space for the existing children who attend, as well as to promote space for larger enrollment. Also, childcare will have a new facility near Conowal, as well as Wewoka. Improvements are taking place at the Seminole facility as well. A 10,000 feet expansion is to be added at the Indian Health Service Clinic, which will have a positive effect on the health care of our members, along with improvements to the pharmacy, which will include a drive-through pharmacy. All these things are forthcoming. We have the drawings to many of them already. And a lot of times people don't realize the processes that take place before that you get the finished project. But they are happening. Here at the Miccosukee Mission, a place that has been revered by many generations of Seminoles, There will be improvements which will encourage us to gather again while promoting health and well-being. A new gym floor and basketball goals have been installed. Go down there if you get a chance today and look at the new basketball gym floor and the new goals that have been installed. State-of-the-art, nearly 20-foot screen will be available as COVID becomes a lot safer for lock-ins for the children. All kinds of events that will take place with that gym in the near future, and have already been actually to a certain extent being conducted. Softball fields have seen improvements, and it will continue to be renovated with new LED lighting on our full field. So by the time that's all finished up this fall, we'll have one of the nicest four-leaf softball fields in Seminole County, and there's some nice ones throughout Seminole County. So we're glad for those improvements. Outdoor basketball courts also, the pads have been laid, and they will be up by October as well. Playground equipment and a splash pad for summer fun. There will be additional pavilions for picnicking in specific areas on this grounds here at Miccosukee. Vast walking trails will be developed. Several permanent bathrooms that will be located in different areas besides just the one that we have right behind us. There are plans to have one down at the campgrounds as well. Although construction was started on this large pavilion here and plans were to have it erected by this weekend, supply and demand for certain materials being delayed, which seems to be and have become the norm during this era we currently live in. There will be a covered pavilion right here at Miccosukee Mission. The estimated completion time is early to mid-October. Fescue grass will be planted where you see the dirt here, and fescue grows in the shade, so we're going to have good grass here in the near future. A new waste management lagoons has been approved by the council as well, which will continue to be sustainable for many generations. A nearly 10,000 square foot facility will be retrofitted for a new meeting place for the Older American program. This facility will allow safer congregate settings for elders and to safely meet and enjoy additional activities. Some of the recent service areas for the members passed by certain General Council resolutions and presently active are doubling the children's school clothing order, which I know the children and the parents appreciate that. Expanding emergency travel assistance for all members in county and out of county. The nation increased its square footage of office space and program usage space up to estimated 70,000 square foot when all the projects are completed. With all the legislation passed by the General Council, I want to say this, and I mean this. I appreciate the General Council aggressively going after certain areas that's going to benefit you and I as tribal members for many generations to come. Finally, the Seminole Nation is positioning itself for progress. The state of the nation is moving forward, which is positive. But finally, one question that may be on your mind, because I've talked to many of you over the days and sometimes on the phone. One of the questions on your mind is there going to be another economic household distribution? Executive office encouraged the first distribution of $2,000 to every eligible tribal member back when we first came into office. As I stated earlier, it was the first resolution enactment of this administration. We encourage a second distribution to be distributed for the first part of October. This second distribution has not been approved. The second distribution has not been approved. The Congressional Act, which governs eligible uses of the funds, is over 437 pages in length. We submit reports to the United States Treasury every quarter on what has been spent and what has been spent for that quarter. So many individuals, maybe you included, have many conclusions, yet have not read the final rules of the Congressional Act. I will make this clear from the Executive Office of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. We are willing to bring it back for consideration for the fifth time. For the fifth time. But it being approved is not in the chief's hands. It's not in the chief's hands. But with our structure of government, it is in your hands. It is in your hands. For it must be approved by the bands, and if you are a Seminole Nation tribal member, you belong to one of the 14 bands of the Seminole Nation. May we all enjoy our return to Nation Days. For 2 years has been a long time. We've lost lots of people. Lots of people. Tuesday, we did a memorial in remember of all those that we have lost in the last 2 years. And if you want to see that, it's over at the flagpole, underneath the flagpole of the Tribal Council House. And we will remember them. We will not forget what we've gone through the last 2 years. We will come out stronger because of it. And in my hopes and in my prayers, we come together as a nation. We be united as a nation. We don't go after each other in a manner and a way that creates negative energy within the Seminole Nation. But the only way I believe, and I truly believe this, that reconciliation is one of the real areas which can release the blessings of the Creator upon the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. We've already seen it early in our administration. We've seen it over the past few months. But now there's beginning to be certain things that are being said. And most of it's over that funding. It is. Most of it's over that funding. Some would try to use politics to try to turn your heart against one another, to turn your heart even against the current administration. Somebody said, the chief does not care for his people. That is not true. You that have known me before I ever came into the areas of tribal affairs know who I am as a person. I have not changed. I love you, Seminole tribal members, and we'll continue to move forward and to put ourselves in positions for progress. So let us talk. Let us laugh. Let us participate in good fellowship here at Seminole Nation Days 2022. I am grateful to be your chief. Assistant Palmer and I will continue to work for the betterment of our people. God bless you, and may God bless the Seminole Nation. Moro! Thank you.